Hey guys, I just wanted to do a quick video about how we took about 5K to our first cruise and came back with about 2K. Okay, so let's go ahead and get into it. So we bought an internet package the day of because the eSIMs that we were given, that we downloaded to our phone from GigSky, they just didn't work on our phones at all. We were expecting them to work down at Galveston when we were on the ship, but they didn't work. And so we bought an internet package just to make sure, first day, just to make sure we can, talk to our kids and whatnot. We know if we would have bought it earlier, it would have been a little cheaper, but we bought it just as a backup. And I got to tell you that the GigSky eSIM, it didn't work anywhere. So it didn't work at sea, it didn't work at Cozumel, it didn't work in the Bahamas, but they were gracious enough to give us a full refund. Okay, and so we paid about $247 for the internet package. And immediately we got it refunded for our excursions that we paid before because the ship was late everywhere I went. Now, if you look at that Chops Grill, we had a dining package, but that 25 is just a tip because it was just that good. It would have been zero if we wouldn't have left that tip. Okay. Now, wild bands, we have decided if we go back to Royal Caribbean, we're going to get those wild bands every time because they were so convenient. Instead of pulling out that seat pass to pay for things or open my cabin door, the wild bands on your arm like a wristwatch. That was very, very efficient. Now, we spent a lot of money at Focus Photo Gallery because me being a photographer, I want to make sure that I can put my work in my house, or when I go to work, I want to have a picture frame of where I've been and the things that I've done. Now, our second biggest expense was the salons, and they were pretty expensive, but the actual couples massage we got and the products they sold us, we're still using some of those products now, and it's August. We got to ship in July. Those products are still really, really good. I had a sore back, and they sold us some lotion, and it really has improved the health of my back and the flexibility. Now, we had to book another short excursion while we were on because the previous one got canceled. And it was just $89, so it wasn't bad at all. We went back to the spa for another treatment. And of course, we left a tip again. Now, the biggest tip we left was at 150 Central Park. If you look at my YouTube shorts, there's a video clip in there of some of the workers that were in there singing to my wife happy birthday. They made it really special for us. We got some extra food. So we just really wanted to show them that we appreciate what they've done. So we left a $50 tip in addition to everything else we left. Mini bar was nothing. Now, this excursion, that actually wasn't an excursion because our excursion got canceled and we were headed into Coco Cay. And so I was like, well, by this time I looked at our account, how much we had left. We had a lot of money left because we really didn't spend anything, right? And so I looked to see what they had at Coco Cay. And sure enough, they had exactly one cabana left. And so I said, let's go ahead and get this cabana. So we went down and I talked to them and I said, hey, can we get this cabana? And they said, we don't have any left. And they looked and sure enough, it was one left. And I said, it was like $3,000. I said, can y'all give us a discount? They was like, yeah. And he got it down to $1,800. And so shout out to Royal Caribbean and the staff for doing that. They really made this anniversary special and my wife's birthday special. All right, so that is, just refunds on some of the excursions we had. Since we booked the cabana, we got a refund on the other one, which is cool. Plus we were late. We personally weren't late. The actual ship was late, okay? So we went to Sundowns. I seen some glasses that I just had to have. And the Caribbean's very, very sunny. So I went and got those glasses. I don't feel bad about it at all. Now, more expenses at Focus Photo. This is because on some of the excursions, like the snorkeling that we did, my GoPro, I forgot the floater at home. So the teller said, hey, the floater's in here. And so when we opened it up, it was like 2 or 3 packages in, and we noticed that none of those packages had the actual connection. So I just kept on buying until we found one that had the connection from the floater to the GoPro. Now, I could have got all this refunded. They refunded one, we didn't get all of them refunded because we had to hurry up and get out and go to the excursion. So, this would have been, we would have saved even more if I would have went back and got all those refunded. But after looking at all the equipment and the packages, I needed it all. And so I just said, you know what, I'll just keep it for next time. All right. So the theater, we got some snacks before we went in there. Portmanteau was very, very cheap. And then we got a refund on the internet because several days into the internet, I didn't realize that, I realized it, but we had two devices, but it just wasn't working right. So my wife's phone worked perfectly. She can get on, she can call people, whatever she wanted, she could do. But since I was going back with my device from my MacBook and my Google Pixel, it just wasn't working right. It was stalling out a lot of times on my MacBook. So I go down to Vroom and they tell me, hey, the secret is you got to go to logout.com and it's going to log you out of one of the devices. And then you can log back into the device that you want to use. So logout.com is your friend, guys. Make sure that you know how to do that so you can use your device, go back and forth between your devices, okay? Now, more photo focus gallery stuff. I just kept buying stuff. And my wife went back to Sundow's the next day, saw some glasses she wanted, and she got them. Okay. And we actually had a really good conversation with the teller that was down there. She's from South Africa. It was a long conversation we all had. That was the one plus that I didn't mention in my other videos, is that the staff on Royal Caribbean were all pretty good conversationalists, really good and interesting people. Bingo. Yes, we played bingo. They overcharged us a little bit, but they gave us that money back instantly, as you can see. All right. So as you can see, one thing that shocked us is our stateroom service, which is room service. So like the second day at sea, the first day at sea, we ordered room service because we were exhausted from the first day. And food for two was just $9. And we just kept leaving like a $10 tip every time we did it. I think we did room service 3 times because we were exhausted or we just didn't feel like seeing or dealing with a lot of people. But we just couldn't believe how good and how cheap it was. Okay. Now, Johnny Rockets, that was like the most expensive thing we paid for food. It was $47. It was really good. And we left a $10 tip. Okay, so stateroom service again. Like I see, we ordered room service again. It was incredible every time we ate there. All right, so out of the $5,000 we came with, we spent about $3,200. And I gotta be honest and say, like, we needed to spend this money because it was our 20-year anniversary, my wife's birthday. It was our first time on a cruise. So we felt like we kind of overspent, but do we regret it? No. And I would tell you, next time we go, we probably won't bring anything because it was so much for us to do, so much for us to experience. The only money we probably bring is, we're going to do another salon because that was incredible. A cabana, maybe. But just probably some spending money for the cities that we get to visit. Other than that, next time we go, we literally can bring nothing. The cabana is optional. Of course, the salon is optional. So we could have had just as much fun without those things, but we're glad that we got them because they made the trip just a little bit more special. But if you're trying to plan your first cruise, you don't have to take that much money. Just look at this invoice. I mean, this isn't much at all. And, cost is subjective, right? But we could have done without all of this and just been happy with room service, the 3 room services that we got. And so I hope this helps you in your planning. And I hope you have fun when you get out there. Thank y'all for tuning in, and I'll see you next time.